I am with Lisa Transcendence Brown here on the beautiful island of Kauai. Lisa, hello.
Hey, Lauren. You know I'm excited to always have you here. Thank you.
It is so fun to be in Lisa's energy, and we hope that this video conversation will transmit to you higher vibrational energy to help you in your ascension as well. Let's check in now and see what is happening. We have things going on with the sky, and you say we can see New Earth and the old Earth all at the same time.
You can. If you know what you're looking for, New Earth will be very soft, and you can actually look at one in the clouds. You can see when New Earth is present, because there's a linear sky and there's a nonlinear sky, and the nonlinear sky of New Earth is very puffy, very soft. Everything blends. You'll see that the clouds are really puffy and they blend, and they actually start out looking very cartoonish. They don't look real. It looks like a painting. And then when the energies anchor in, you'll see pastels. The new hues of New Earth are pinks, and there are even some greens that are really kind of weird looking. You've got purples, but you'll have all of these really light blues, and lately it's been silver and white. When the purity frequencies activate, everything turns white, and you'll shift from one dimension to the next. When it's linear, you'll see the edges of the old clouds. It looked like it did before, and like you can see our clouds up there, our dense clouds are silver and a light gray. Those actually have a lot of electromagnetic energy in them, and they bring in the New Earth hues. You can actually look below them and see a different color of blue, whereas above them is, the higher you go, the older right now on this day the blue is. Now it'll actually start changing before your eyes.
So the New Earth is the newest, lowest here to us.
It is on this day.
On this day.
It's going to depend on the frequencies of the day. Sometimes old Earth isn't present at all. Sometimes the skies are only pinks and purples, and they all blend in together. The clouds are all very soft. There are other frequencies, like those clouds have started forming over to the right, and they carry a completely different frequency altogether. There's a lot of electromagnetic energy in those. So each cloud has a different energy and a different frequency that it carries with it. And at the bottom of that cloud right there in front of us, you can actually, those who can see energy, you can actually look at it and see the energy moving. So each one is different, a very non-linear, very soft. Just like when your heart opens, everything gets fuzzy and soft. So does the sky. So do the plants. The colors become more vibrant, and the sun is delivering new frequencies, new prisms, new colors. And you caught a picture of it on your phone, and we blew it up, and you could see the rainbows in it. Well, there's a different sun that appears every morning and every night than the one that's present during the day. And we're in the front yard of this magnificent place where I live in, beautiful Lemurian frequencies, a paradise. And you can actually see the birds talk. They're very active. In the evening, in the mornings, is when a lot of visibility is there. The sun will come up, it'll turn gold. And lately it's been white and silver. The clouds have been. And then that will leave, and then the sky will change, and it will turn into pinks and purples and just the most magnificent colors, and you cannot capture it on camera. I've got to do something about a camera that'll capture all of this. Some of it will be orange, but those clouds, as you can see at the bottom, are very puffy and soft. The bottom of the sky is a pastel blue, baby blue, and as you go up, the sky will get darker, and as you go straight up, it will be the old Earth blues. Now technically, I don't have any old Earth left, so that's as old as it gets. So that's even still a bit more pastel. The old skies had the dark, dark clouds that represent the density that's got to clear. And here, we don't have dark clouds. We don't have the weather that others do. It's because the frequencies are high enough. Now there are We actually traveled to a different part of the island the other day, and it was the old Earth skies. It was a very dense part of the island. The energy was much lower, and you can see the consciousness of everybody in the area is a lot of old Earth programs and stuff too. So it will dictate the area you're in. This is why a lot of people will move around. They will raise their consciousness, and they won't want to be in the area anymore, and they'll start to move because they'll go where the frequencies are higher, because their body is then supported too. Because physical ascension requires that the body be raised in frequency, and a lot of the denser places can't support that anymore. For me, I was shown I had to come here because my body needed the frequencies of here. And so I went back mainland one time, and in my body, I'm like, nope, not again. So over there, you can see that, Lauren, and how poofy, and the clouds will actually start to blend with the sky. And there are times that the ocean, the clouds, and the sky all merge together, and you can't see any difference at all. It's really cool. And then the colors will come in. Now tonight, when the sun sets, it'll start to change. And the sun, when it hits over the mountain here behind me, it'll start turning different colors. And it'll either be silver or gold, usually, and then it will bring in the hues of the pinks and the purples. And you can actually watch it change before your eyes. Now yesterday, I believe it was, we actually sat and we would look up while we were working out the window, and we had old Earth clouds. And we'd go back to work for like 3 minutes and look up, and the whole sky had changed to new Earth clouds. And the frequencies were all over the place. We were back and forth, back and forth. And then we'd look up, and boom, we're back with the new skies again. And it went back and forth, back and forth. Every few minutes we had a different sky. It's really cool because if you're paying that much attention and you're that present with it, you can actually watch it as it changes. Even those back there have started to go softer. And you know how they had all the lines on top of them a minute ago? They're starting to go. They're not there anymore. And the baby blue hues are coming up from the bottom. Here, the clouds rise from the bottom and go up. You can actually watch them, whereas the old days, it was as if we were moving into the heavens, and the heavens were up top. Now, the heavens are rising from the bottom and moving up. There are days, and when we activated Earth 3 recently, that was a bit bizarre in a most awesome way, because hollow Earth is the reverse opposite reality of this, and it started becoming visible in the physical here. So you know, by watching what you're watching, that you are in hollow Earth. It's kind of weird, but you can actually see things. Things are in reverse. Things are the opposite. And then the other day when we activated a lot of things, a lot of the stargates activated and connected. And when those activated, Earth 3 opened up, which is a docking station for all of us as we move from this. And it opened up the multiverse and for other universes to become available by way first energetically. And we have to have the energetic connection first. We have to have those memories first. We have to have the belief first. And we have to work with those frequencies until we embody them here so that that physical world can then be in response to us. And so that's why we work with our frequencies. That's why we work with raising up. That's why we work with letting go of everything that's of the old programs, the old Earth ways, the old belief systems, is because you cannot come to be on New Earth if you're holding on to the old Earth ways and beliefs still, and they're in your physical body. So it's really important that you get them out of your body by way of a release, and you let it go. Programs, when the frequencies activate, they'll target your organs, your liver, your teeth, your gums. My teeth throb right now, and I did not know that there were actually, there's vortexes in every part of our body. And my cells actually spin now, every one of them. I can see inside the physical body when our cells activate in light. And so there's a lot of really cool things going on. For those who are embracing the journey, we've been going through a lot of portals lately, and there's a lot of really strange things. Last week we had a day that we went through an entire vortex, And I'll go into a bit more of that later and what actually occurred. But gravity changed, and all of us got really weighted and heavy. And our body felt like we were being squished. And we were stuck there for the entire day while we went through this vortex. And breathing is hard. It feels like we're being pushed on. And we went through this for the entire day. And then it started to lift. And as it does, then all the skies start to change. Everything starts to change. You're actually emerging on the other side of the portal. And if you're aware of what's going on, then you can actually look for the differences. And you're not actually even in the same place as you were before. But you do have to be present. You do have to pay attention. And you do have to look for what's different. You have to look for the colors. And even the trees here are more vibrant. And it's very plush. And it's got, when the sun comes up, everything turns gold. And that gold starts to bring the colors out of all of the trees. And the mountain would turn a different color. So it's absolutely cool because you can sit and watch the sunrise and watch the trees and the grass fill with color where there was no color before. So look for it. It's really cool. You want to go out there and you want to look for what's different, and you have to expect what's different. You have to look for what's changed, and you have to expect awesome. If you expect the old reality, that's what you're going to get. And those for all of us who are anchoring light and who are working to transcend the old limits and belief systems, then we go out there and we look for it. And you take a camera and you take the pictures and you look in your camera and you see what you can see. But yes, very visible. A lot of things are about to change. We ended a point today that's going to move out a whole lot of stuff. It's also going to speed up the lower grid work of consciousness while it collapses. So it's really important for everybody to get very serious with their own vibrational frequency and take in responsibility for their own reality now. Not responsibility as in right, wrong, good, bad. Responsibility of, I have the power to create a change in my world. Responsibility is, this is my world. I'm not going to accept the old stuff anymore, and completely stepping back and actually just turning and walking in a direction of light. And telling others if they want to join you, come join me. I'll be over here. I'll be radiating. And don't lower your frequency and go back into the old ways, because it's really important right now for what's coming for everybody. The more light we hold, the more magnificent it is. And the more everyone gets to play. If we are entertaining and feeding our energy into the old realities, then the old reality is what we're going to get. But we're going to get a more magnified version of it than we got before. Because now it's a mirror effect where everything is instant. And so every time we participate in an old program, then that it's going to reflect back really fast. So we don't want to have that in our reality anymore. We want the awesome stuff. And we want to focus our energy on creation and coming together and unification and letting go of the competition and the blame game and all of that stuff that doesn't serve anybody. You actually want to choose where you put your energy. You actually want to be intentional in every moment. You actually want to say, I have a choice. And I want to be a part of New Earth realities where everybody comes together and shares and supports each other. Because the way that it works is you have to do it first if you want it in your reality. There's no more sitting around waiting for others to do it. You do it, and it'll come to you. It's reversed. Used to be, we worked on ourselves and we waited for everything to change. We don't wait anymore. We work on ourselves, we sleep a whole lot, and we get up, and it's called the doing energy. New Earth is a doing energy. You get up and you do. You go create change yourself. Little things first. But if you want it in your world, you have to create it. You have to support it. All along the way, we're like, we want people to support us. We want people to support us. And I realized one day nobody was going to support me unless I started supporting others first. And I went, oh, cool. I got to do it first. And that's what made me start an understanding. You got to do it first. That's the way shower in every one of us. If we want it here, we bring it here. There is no waiting for anybody else. And there's a big thing right now that we just stepped into. And there's we're going to see a lot more anger. We're going to see a lot more blame. We're going to see a lot more going on. There's a lot more of being left behind energy. We got left behind. Nobody gets left behind unless that's their mentality. Because the moment you go into, did I get left behind, then you're the one leaving yourself behind. You've given up power to something else to come save you. And that's what's got to go. Because what we step into right now, everybody's got to actually take responsibility for their own world. And everybody's got to say, wow, I got to do this myself. More important than ever. Because we just hit a turning point. When the 2012 Gateway opened, it started ascension to become a physical thing. Everybody, and I say everybody because we all that are doing consciousness and becoming consciously aware work really hard to spread awareness, to create awareness, to share, and to enlighten others to how much is really there and how things are not as we perceive them to be. How different everything is and how we're not limited to the old realities anymore. So in our expansion, we gain new ability to see. We're able to see from multiple dimensions and not just this one here. And so the more we work on our own consciousness, the more we expand. A lot of people are going through expansion of energy, the heating up, the burning off, the shifting, clearing all the density, the heaviness of letting go, making choices. And it's an in-depth journey because we're going into our soul. And we are seeing what we couldn't see before. And where we're human, and we call it the human aspect, and we have a higher self aspect, where we're human, we start judging. And that's part of the process, is letting go of the judgment, letting go of the attachments, letting go of everything that kept us limited humans. And then as we do that, we activate the light inside. And as we do this, we start to expand, and our consciousness expands, and we get to actually, other than just looking into other dimensions, which is what a lot of us did in the beginning in our dreams, we start walking in them, and they actually become a very physical, real reality here as we ascend. We all ascended in 2012, yet we didn't gain the memories instantly. We didn't gain the ability to take our bodies with us because they were too dense. We still held too much density in our emotions, in our physical body, and in our mental aspect, our mind. Our mind is the last thing to catch up. We can't comprehend because it doesn't fit into the old boxes and the realities that we thought how everything was supposed to be. So as humans, we hold on. And it's a process of letting go and allowing and learning to come back and to live from our heart and our pure divine essence and the beauty of who we are. And we start to remember. And as we start to remember from beyond this place. But we have fear when this starts to happen because we don't like what we see. And so a lot of people, because they don't like what they see, or it's too painful, or they have too much judgment, they suppress, they hide, they tuck it back in. And that just creates more to have to deal with in the long run. Well, fast forward to now, because we've spent the last 3.5 years clearing, expanding, seeing other dimensions, playing on New Earth, which is brilliant and magnificent. But then we hit a space, and I was not aware of any of this until I saw it the other day, that now we're at a halfway point. And what's funny is that the old perceptions, the old prophecies, the old beliefs of what was going to come one day when ascension began are technically now occurring, but in a different aspect, which is what you and I talked about. Because as humans, we created fears around the entire ascension process. And
It's in the Bible.
It's in the Bible, and even I did not have any awareness other than the fact that growing up, I was taken to church to watch films about the rapture, and to create such fear around the process of what was going to happen one day. And now inside of me, I knew that's not going to happen. So I always held on to that. And that's the part of this that we all do know. And that's the part we listen to. But the other day when I gained the vision to see, you're able to expand beyond everything, and you're able to see everything, the whole picture. You're able to see everything all along the way.
And by everything, you're looking at this ascension process, and by halfway, you mean since 2012 and the 7-year cycle after 2012, yes. We're halfway there. So you saw something.
Yes.
Okay.
What I saw, because it is our memories in a way, but it's also, as a master, we get to see what we couldn't see before, and we see everything in a different context. And when I first saw it, I'm like, wow, no way. I didn't want to believe it, and then I started putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, which is how we see. And what it was that we were in the time of the rapture, that in the old days created fear, which now, and the correlation is what we do. We take the old words of fear, and we take them and correlate them to what it really means now. And it means that, and what I saw was that rapture in the third dimension is the equivalent of ascension for the fifth dimension, and it's what we've been going through ever since we started this process. But we don't tie the puzzle pieces together. And then I saw an overall view of everything and the tribulation. And then we went through a thing and how the tribulation is a 7-year process. And there are many pieces of the puzzle, so I'll have to actually touch on many aspects of those in order to make a little bit of sense of this. But the tribulation is a 7-year process. And I was shown that we just hit the 3.5-year mark. And that the first 3.5 years was the first part of the tribulation. And now we've hit the second mark. Now, depending on the dimension we occupy, the meanings are different. I was shown that we're running 3 different timelines based upon the consciousness that we hold. So for the third dimensional consciousness, they're running one timeline that does apply to the 7 years. Whereas those that have already started the journey and that have become conscious and are working and doing, they have moved out of that consciousness for that to even apply to them. And the time frame has shortened, because as you unify inside, you shift to another dimension. You no longer live in that dimensional consciousness anymore, so those realities no longer apply to you, which is the cool thing. It's beautiful. And then those who had really done a lot of work and that were already playing on New Earth, then that time frame had been shortened. And so it's kind of like a tier effect. So each consciousness, there's a grid work of consciousness that we belong to as we shift and change. And every time we enter back into our head, we shift back into the old grid work of consciousness. And every time we open our heart and we let go, we shift into the new grid work of consciousness, the higher one, our higher self aspect. And the realities that apply to the old dimensional consciousness no longer apply. That's the key here. Is because, yes, we are in the time of the tribulation, which now starts the Great Tribulation, which is the second half. Now, the reason this is important is because it is the utmost important that everybody start taking responsibility right now. All in, on board, focus, and make ascension their priority. Because this is the only reason any one of us are here, is to wake up, is to transcend the old limits, the old belief systems, to get them out of our physical body, to let them go, to stop judging, and actually make ourselves a priority. And that's the beauty of it. We're making ourselves a priority. We're coming back to love. We're coming back to remembering who we've always been, and we're leaving the old limits of the old constraints all behind. So this is a beautiful process. It is a long process if we drag it out. If we go into our human aspect of fear and judgment and pointing the finger, right now pointing the finger is the big thing. Because every time one points the finger at, look at that over there, they reestablish that consciousness in their own reality and they make it theirs. Which means that they take themselves into that grid work. So as that grid work collapses, then they go with it. Because there's a lot of, we're being left behind. And it's really important to understand nobody gets left behind. Left behind is a mental concept. It's the responsibility of somebody else's. It's, I've given my power away. I'm waiting for somebody else to save me. And there is none of that here. We save ourselves as part of unity and Christ consciousness. We go inward. Everyone here holds keys and codes in light within their physical body, this inside their new crystalline DNA. And as they go inward and let go of the old belief systems and the need to point the fingers and get back into the old programs, you shift, you refocus on creation of new, in bringing forth light, in coming together and sharing. And as you do, you leave the old behind, and it's no longer, you change grid works. You change consciousness grids, and you become a part of the new. And so it is a beautiful thing that we can actually take the old concepts of the rapture and the tribulation and see, because the cool part is that the second half of the tribulation period means different things. For those hanging on to the old constructs, for those still wanting to play in the old mental realities, for those still trying to point a finger, and those not want to let go, then that is what is collapsing. And the physical world is a response to that. So we have to understand, well, we don't have to, but it's nice to, because it makes it a whole lot easier for us. We want to understand that we have new awarenesses, and all we have to do is open up. And that's all it takes, is the desire. You just have to desire more, and then the old ways. And if you want to hold on to the old mindsets, then being left behind is an old mindset. Now, we went through last week Event Horizon, which I didn't know what that was. I write on Facebook as I go, and I'm writing. We just went through a huge vortex. Everything just got shot down. We just went through, waited. All gravity went. And we were held there all day long. And it was really uncomfortable for all of us. And as we activate in light, as we evolve as star beings here, our physical bodies change, and we feel the entire universe. We feel portals when they open, because they all happen inside. And so this is done through opening the heart, because when you open your heart, you activate a portal. It is really simple, but it's not simple to do. It takes practice. As humans, we practice a lot. We practice remembering what we already know. And we vibrate at a higher frequency. When you shift into love, your vibration changes. And you vibrate back into love, into your Lemurian, your galactic, all of that stuff. And we're the ones that do this. Physical realities are a representation and a reflection and a response to us. And so if we remember that, we hold a mass amount of power inside of us. And this is about going inside and finding our power again, taking our power back and letting go of the old ways and coming together and sharing. So, yes, we have hit that mark. Now, another thing that we did was we do a lot of timeline jumps. The more light you hold inside your body, the more photonic light you hold. That photonic light gives you the ability to walk from one dimension to the next. You get to choose. You can shift instantly, and things start to appear.
The question would be, how do you increase that photonic light?
Sleep. Open your heart. And there are many weird things that make no sense. Sleep is the best way to integrate light into your being, because our human body, our human mind, our human structure has a consciousness, and it rejects and pushes everything back out on its own. Now, when your body goes to sleep, your mind goes to sleep, those muscles relax. Those muscles are the grid work that create the barriers so that when you go to sleep, the light integrates into your cells, into your muscles, into your bones. And a lot of people are going through the physical ascension part, which is all the body is going through a lot, is being beaten. This is why. Ascension is the physical body ascending and leaving the old dimensions behind. The lower dimensions were in the physical body. The lower half of the body will dump and start clearing. And there will be many things. Gravity goes inside your body. Your memories go. But in an awesome way. It's not a fear-based thing. None of this is. The human aspect will make it a fear-based thing. And that's not what this is. That we don't operate from fear about anything at all. This is now bringing forth the second half of the tribulation period. Everything that everybody's worked for. This means everything's about to speed up. And everybody is about to step into, we've already stepped into, today marked that day. Yesterday was an ending point, and the words in the beginning were the point of no return, and I did not understand what that meant, and then I started to see. We don't have, and the words in the beginning before that were, you don't have to go back anymore. And then I was shown our human mind, and that we actually had to remind ourselves in every moment, it's not the old ways anymore. Because our mind will want to go back, oh, something bad's going to happen. Oh, it's the old way. The other words were that, okay, we entered into Earth 3 being activated here for us. And that's another whole thing that we'll do. But in that, that's an antimatter universe, which means there's no more density anymore. And then I saw the words were, everybody evil is now good. Now, evil's not one of my words. There's no evil in my world. We walk in a dimension where everything is love. And I saw all the souls of everybody on Earth being loaded into ships and being transported to the fifth dimension, which means they already exist there, but we have to look for that within everybody. When we meet people, even the ones in our previous reality that we thought were bad, we have to actually look for the good in them. We have to give them a chance to be the new version. And that's what a lot of people don't do, is they think, notice the word, that in the next moment, that the people they are reconnecting with are the for them to wake up and their consciousness expands so they can leave the old programs and dimensions behind. So it's a beautiful knowing that that's what's going on, but when you're in it, you don't understand it. And it's a lot of finger pointing at the first sign that we're waking up is when we start pointing the finger at the lack of integrity out there. That means that our own integrity is about to be challenged, because none of us held purity in the beginning, not as humans. It was the opposite. We were very impure. We had a lot of impurities. We all had to go through clearing all of that up. We cannot stand in judgment. Every one of us were impure. Every one of us chose a path of dysfunction and messed upness, whatever you want to call it. That's the point. So when you let go of those mental constructs of blame, shame, fear, guilt, I need to forgive, that's a big one. A lot of people get stuck in trying to forgive something that they, one, programmed within their own DNA to come here and experience, and two, there was a soul contract. Everybody was honoring everybody when that occurred, but you have to go on the beyond the human mentality to totally get that. But when you step into a true understanding of soul to soul and how this journey works, you completely let it go. And when you do, you're free. And when you're free, you can expand beyond the limits that were previously held in place. That's where we talk about there are no victims here. Because our DNA, our soul, our frequencies, that we did this to ourselves. This is our chosen journey. And so when we understand that, we quit blaming everybody else. We allow ourselves to be a victim. But we do pull away. And you let go of the influences of the outside world. And there are many times a lot of us would shut our phones off, or we'd get off Facebook, or we turn the TV off, and then we let it all go. You don't read the paper. You don't become a creator of your world and watch the outside world and let it influence you. And in order to become source, in order to become creator, you actually turn and refocus your energy on something productive that is of a higher vibration. And that's key, because a lot of people go, well, I did refocus. I'm over here fighting against that. But they don't understand that that fight recreates that grid work. They don't understand that that fight is what actually holds the grid work in place, which means that when that grid work collapses, they're the one that goes with it. And it's really important to understand there are a bazillion of us out here that have refocused and created the grid work for New Earth. Every one of us, crystals in our body. A lot of people, my clients lately, they're like, oh, we have crystals popping up all over our skin. They getting it because they're experiencing it and the breakouts on their body. There are many things that are happening that years ago people couldn't believe until it happens to them. But right now, it's most important that everybody understand it's in a beautiful way. Everything's about to speed up. And everybody says, I want fast manifestation. I want things to appear instantly.
Well, watch it, though.
But
could we really... Are we really ready for that?
Well, we are if you're focused on awesome.
Yes.
If you're clear, if you're clean, if you're pure. And this takes purity. Because what you're manifesting is your thoughts. What you're manifesting is your beliefs. So when you start asking for instant manifestation, that physical reality out there is your answer. And it's fast. And these vibrational frequencies have removed the delay. It's an instant boomerang effect if you're not in alignment with your truth from inside your heart. And it means saying no to a lot of the old ways and not allowing that in your world. We didn't understand that we had to say no so much. But it does mean saying no, holding that space of love for everybody, but going on. This is the way shower in every one of us. Go on and do it yourself. Leave everything behind. Start creating your own world. Because what's going to happen is, and I did it, everybody would go, oh, but we want to keep doing this. And I said, you go ahead. I'll be over here doing my own thing. And I went off, and lo and behold, every time I'd turn around, they're like, oh, but we want to come too. I'm like, y'all come on, I'll be over here. And you leave everybody behind. Leave them. You don't need that. And that's not in a way of leave everybody behind. That is raise your vibrational frequency so that they want to come with you. They want to help you. They will watch you. You are a light. That's what it means to be a light. You radiate. You go on. You leave the old stuff behind. And as you do, you create a light for everybody else to come with you. So it's the responsibility of being a light. It's the responsibility of opening your heart. It's the responsibility of claiming the power of your universe. And a lot of people don't know where to start. And the important thing is it doesn't matter where you start, just that you do.
And that just goes to anyone who's out there continuing with any struggle or suffering. It couldn't be easier to just choose to no longer struggle and be in that love, but yet it still is hard, but that's the work. That's the work, is to let it go. And even in your own life, you had to let go your family, your son.
Everything.
But then it came right back to you.
Instantly. Because the moment you're not letting go of those things, you're letting go of the version of that things and your attachment that keeps you anchored to that dimension. And that's what's key. You're letting go of your perception. You're letting go of the version of that you created so a more awesome one can come forth. And when I was told I had to let go of my family, it was hard. But I got it, because the moment I'm told by my higher self aspect or my universe I have to do something, I honor it first and foremost. It's the first thing. I've come to understand over the years how important it is. And I'm like, okay, I will. And I went home and I cried and I grieved. The crying and the grieving was the point. That's what keeps us stuck to that. And I went home understanding what I was doing. I had to get it out of my body. And I went home and I got it out. And the moment I got it out, the words were, now call your son, tell him you want to see him. And I'm like, you are kidding me. And it's like, no. And on the way back, it was, now recreate. What do you want? And I'm like, well, I want this. And I created the entire exchange. And when I walked in, it was exactly as I envisioned it, because we have that capability now. We have the ability to create the dream here in the physical world, because it's not a dream. It's the vibrations that we've already existed in another dimension. And I'm going to go into dimensions for a moment. A dimension is just a frequency. So when you change your frequency, you change dimensions. Your head operates in a lower frequency than your pure heart does. So when you open your heart and you come from a place of purity and honor and integrity and love, you shift into the fifth dimension. You are your higher self. All you have to do, and that's the hard part, is maintaining that honor and integrity and love all the time. And not letting your head rule your world. And that's the part that you learn to navigate, is to how to learn to shift. And as you do that, as you expand and see different perspectives, you expand into a different dimension. Every time you find a new perspective from love or gratitude, you shift into a different dimension. It is that simple. It's really cool. It doesn't have to be a hard thing. But as you do those expansion practices, then the next thing you know, your whole world starts to change and other people are happier. It's not that they're happier. It's that you're happier and you're transmitting happy. And then you're calling that vibration of happy people to you. And that's how the entire thing works. But I want to say one thing about letting go, because that's a hard thing to do. And we don't know. When you feel your body being resistant, you have to choose to let go. And you can actually just throw your body on a bed, lay your body on the ground, and say the words, I let go, I give up. I give completely up with every part of you. This is a full body experience. You have to go all in with every part of you. Your mind, your emotions, your physical body, all three have to vibrate at the same frequency of love, which means you have to release the old programs from all of them. So when you intentionally give up, everything relaxes and flow. You'll feel it. Everything will start to shift. And that's what you want to intentionally do. Just give up continually. Get back into flow. Things are really easy. If things are not easy, if things are not awesome and magical, then you're out of flow. And that makes, you're creating obstacles and things in your world that you don't have to when you start to let go. So it's the process of understanding. Right now we've entered the second phase which means really fast time. A lot of people are noticing how time has shifted and time doesn't exist, or things are faster. It's going to continue because the mind is what is slow. The heart is instant. For me, instantly, somebody asks me something, instant answer. There's no delay. I don't have to think about, because it comes from within. You already know the answer, and that's what people are learning to trust again, that they already know the answer. And the cool part is I live in a reality where things have already occurred. So for me, I'll say, okay, show me what I've already done. And then I'll feel it in my body, and I just go do that. And I'm repeating realities, and I'm accessing the other dimensional realities that have already happened. And I feel it in my body. I'm like, okay, that's what we need to do. And I'll just go through 100 scenarios of what should I do next, and the one I feel, I'm like, yep, that's that one. And we just go in. It's really cool, the capabilities that we have here. So I think the biggest message for everybody is to understand how serious ascension is that everybody here has chosen this journey, and we're in the second half of this period, and that we, a lot of us, and I can't answer for everybody, but we skip timelines. So what would have occurred in September for the equinox now is happening in June. So we've jumped timelines, and things are faster now. So our perceptions, and until I saw this the other day, I did not understand either. So we're in a very pivotal time. We've passed the halfway point, and if you actually look back, the 3.5 years ends up being right now. And I didn't know any of this. It's not something that isn't within my awareness. It's something that I see that comes within my own energy. It's my rememberings. And so a lot of the prophecies that we feared way back then are now starting to occur. And if you look out into the physical world, the unconscious world is experiencing all of these things. Now, on a different note, so that portals and stargates and energies can be released, the entire Earth has to shift. And that's what you're seeing with all the earthquakes. That's what you're seeing, the tectonic plates, however you pronounce it, under the Earth. All the stargates linked up in the last couple weeks. Galactic ones, under the Earth, inner Earth, here in physical, we had some major shifting, and when all of that occurred, every one of them linked up, and that's what created Earth 3 that I had no idea of. Which is now a place that we all shift into, and you have those have been working on consciousness shifting into New Earth as they ascend, and then you have those who have been doing this for a while shifting into Earth 3. And technically there is no once we get there, we're always there, where everybody has the ability for this. They just have to open up and start claiming it. I'm already here. Start looking for it, because there's visible signs. You can look at the sky, the clouds. I write about it 24 hours a day on Facebook when I can get online. Very visible, very big changes. And it's not the old Earth anymore. But we have to know what to look for, and we have to actually expect to go out and find it. And say, all right, bring me my new Earth. Go out there, and you have to learn to play again. You cannot get to New Earth if you can't play. And that's a big one, because all of us that functioned from our linear logical mind forgot how to play. All of us who had rough childhoods and closed down, we couldn't play anymore. We all have to learn to play again. We have to get out in nature, because you cannot see what's changed inside your room. And a lot of us, when we pull away, we become recluses for a little while. And that's a part of the journey. It's necessary. And I did it for a few years too. You have to. You cannot do this journey with the outside world influences. A lot of us can't. Others can. Everybody's journey is different, and that's why we don't tell people how to do anything. We create awareness and we share. We let everybody choose what they want to for them. That's the beauty of this. You can do it any way you want to. So I hope that answers some of the questions and gives a little bit of awareness for those who are ready, because we're about to jump and catapult and quantum leap into all kinds of cool stuff.
Well, thank you for showing the way. It's wonderful, because it couldn't be easier, really, to move into love and to drop all that pains us, and to realize that all that pains us is just something that's in our mind as a belief system. And once we dare to let go of that belief system, I can just say it gets really, really fun. And thank you for showing us the way, the many different ways that we can do it. We're going to go play and have fun on a helicopter here this afternoon. And what's really amazing is that my producer Heidi and I, my mom, Heidi's mom, both share the same birthday, which is today. And they are here with us now in spirit. And we are so invited to have all of you join us in an online healing retreat. It's a master series with Lisa where we go in depth into this, how we can really make these shifts, how we can take more responsibility in our own lives and behold that mastery that we are. Tell us more about this exquisite program coming up.
Well, my thing is power. We are to re-empower ourselves through remembering again. And everything I do is to bring others back to their own mastery, the master self-being that they already are. To remember and to help them with reminders and practices and things that they can implement into your days, because it's something you have to do repeatedly until you remember how to do it again. And as you do this, it is reprogramming yourself. And so we work through, and I do a lot of light activations. I write light encoded activations, and everything I do is light encoded as well. It activates your memories on a sub-molecular level while you sleep, while you meditate, while you do whatever you want to do. And then the practices, and most of it's just through understanding and awareness. We talk about these things so that we can work out the things that most don't understand, and we simplify. That's a big thing. We simplify it, and we take the old beliefs out of the way and the old mentalities, because this is an opposite, inside out, upside down, backwards world, and it's very confusing when things start to shift and change. But everybody here has an amazing amount of power, an amazing amount of magnificence, all inside. And what we do is we bring people back to that, and we offer tools, and we assist in everybody remembering again from a place of power. So this is about empowerment as a master being, and taking our power back, claiming our universe, and becoming creators and source again here in the physical and embodiment, and recreating everything. So very powerful, which is one of my favorite things, is to assist others in reclaiming their power and going out there and creating change, because that's what we're here for, is to transformation together, and change together, unification, and everybody as love again, which is how we all are at our core as pure beings again. So purity, love, that's what we do. So yeah, I'm excited.
That's the way. We like it. Yay! Thank you, Lisa, so much.
Thank you, Lauren, and I'm excited. Thank you, guys. Mahalo.
Namaste. Thank you.
Namaste, mahalo. Thank you.
Video, we're going to start out with a big cheesy aloha.